Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and something I want to make you aware of. On February 17th, Joe Indoso, the COO of Linqto, who is one of my sponsors, he's going to be interviewing Jack McDonald, and you can go in there and ask questions and find out what's going on. PolySign posted this tweet, and there's a link to the thing where you can go sign up. Here's the thing where you can go sign up right here. And then you can register and you can go in there and you'll be able to talk to Jack McDonald and ask questions. Now, as a promo leading up to this for today only, now remember this is today only. Normally Linqto has a minimum investment of $10,000, but today until midnight is my understanding, you can get these three for $5,000 only. PolySign, and then Linqto shares, and then Acorn shares. Those three are the only three issues on Linqto that you can get for $5,000. The rest are $10,000 or more. So the link to that will be in the top of the description. You can click on that. Tell them DAI sent you. Now, Crypto Bull's got some interesting looking charts going on. He says with patterns repeating and Elliott wave impulse count set to start wave 3, XRP looks to go to $27 next, then around $250. I'll take 27 or $250 myself. Now, let's get into this stuff with the stable coins, because yesterday it was announced that the SEC is going after Paxos, okay? But the problem with the SEC, and it illustrates a point, Gary Gensler and the SEC are not going after anything because they really believe it's a security. They're going after everything as weapons to stop everything, just like they did, or the way it appears that they did with Ripple, okay? Now, but I find it interesting that Ripple was the first. Ripple is, in other words, Ripple in the current climate, and I'll say it twice so you understand where I'm going with this. Ripple, in the current climate, the only way for any digital asset to get clarity, to find out whether it's a security or not, is to be sued by the SEC and go through what we've seen is 1 to 3 years of a lawsuit. Because Congress isn't doing anything anytime soon. So it's the only route to clarity. There is only one digital asset in the United States. Now, that's not clarity in the world, but in the United States, there is only one digital asset that is imminently getting clarity, for good or for bad. Now, even if it's bad, see, the thing is, the United States is not everything. Yeah, that might be 25% of the XRP potential market share, but it's not everything. XRP will go on, and that's why, yeah, people are scared and all that. But this thing's bigger than Gary Gensler, okay? But for the purposes of the United States, there is only one that is imminently going to have clarity, okay? But I want to drive the point home that Gary is not suing these companies, and this is the problem. He's not suing these companies because he really believes these things are securities. Right here, Senator Toomey illustrates this with what he says about stablecoins. He's basically saying stablecoins are not securities. You know that, and we know that, because they don't satisfy the prong of the Howey test that you've got to be trying to make a profit. None of us have bought stablecoins to make a profit. It's just somewhere to sit until you decide to invest in something to make a profit. Listen to what he says.
The court standard for determining when something is an investment contract. So, for instance, stablecoins do not have an inherent expectation of profit. They're just linked to the dollar. Now, you might use them in an attempt to make a profit, but that's a second order activity. Is it your view that stable coins themselves can be securities?
I think that, Senator, they may well be securities. As Thurgood Marshall wrote in the Reeves opinion,
So he's trying to shuck and jive is what Gary's trying to do here. But the bottom line is Gary knows that the Howey test does not satisfy stablecoins. He knows it. No question about it, he knows it. Well, here's some interesting information. It turns out, according to CoinDesk, that stablecoin issuer Circle, Jeremy Allaire, reportedly sounded an alarm on rival Paxos. They ratted Paxos out after learning that Paxos issued BUSD was not properly backed by reserves, leading to this New York Department of Financial Services to start the investigation. All right, and then you got this. Expect Circle and USDC to be the next SEC stablecoin target to receive a Wells notice. Sources: Circle will get sued, as will every other stablecoin of consequence. Source: look at PayPal abandoning their stablecoin project. What else do you need to know? Then, this is a little off topic, but it still is gratifying, and I wanted to play it for you. This is a man asking Gary Gensler, who is a failed regulator who failed to see MF Global when he was at the CFTC, when his buddy, an ex-Goldman Sachs buddy boss at MF Global, defrauded people to the tune of over $1 billion, and Gary recused himself. Didn't want to have to answer any questions about it. And so this guy's asking this failed regulator, Gary Gensler, about the failed regulators over Bernie Madoff.
Could you identify yourself?
I'm sorry, Bal Das from Kylix Investment Advisors. I applaud your efforts on regulation, transparency, and on central clearinghouse in terms of the focus of the reform. But it seems to me, looking at it and when history is written, regulatory failure and failure of regulators was a fundamental and critical aspect of this crisis. The focus in recent times and even in the aftermath of the crisis has been more on Wall Street. You got politics there. The question I have for you is how much of the focus today in the reform is on the nature of the regulators, competent, well-paid regulators who are able to effectively do the task that eventual legislation will charge them with. So in the instance of the Bernie Madoff case, the regulators seem to have been amongst the only people in the sophisticated landscape who didn't understand option trading. When the Madoffs of the world went to the Blackstones of the world, quickly people figured out things were not adding up. So I'd be interested in your view on the regulators themselves, better paid, better educated, better trained. How much of the focus is on that? Thank you.
Well,
first I need to...
One, I think it's clear the regulatory system failed.
Right, let me correct myself. Gary is a two-time failed regulator. He failed FTX and MF Global. Maybe more than that. Those are just the ones I know about off the top of my head. But let me tell you what the guy just asked. What he really just asked is, every time we have a fraud or something that happens on these regulators' dime, on their time, while they're getting paid and they're supposed to be so smart, and they get, quote, fooled, which you can believe that if you want to, that they were fooled. Every time that happens, all that happens is we get more regulation, but nobody ever points at the regulator and say, wait a minute, you failed. It's time for you to have your butt fired. Why does that never happen? That's what the guy was really asking. And that's what we're asking. Now, let's get to this, because we all remember when Charles Hoskinson said, when he was talking about how he had heard rumors that December 15th or whatever, there was going to be a settlement or something with the Ripple case that would could be catastrophic for the industry. What I believe Charles Hoskinson was, I believe the whispers that he's hearing, and I believe that what he's really saying is, listen, this XRP, I believe this is why he was so mad. It wasn't the XRP community. I think he's mad because he thinks that XRP is about to get clarity. And with a do-nothing Congress, XRP is going to get clarity because it went through a 2 to 3 year lawsuit, and the rest of the industry, including himself, are staring down the barrel of, they don't know if the next day is the day they're going to get a lawsuit from the SEC, and it will stay that way. They will stay in that purgatory. I believe that's what he's saying here.
Oh, this one right here.
And he says it applies to Bitcoin or Ethereum too.
Yeah, Cardano's data is ruled as security by the SEC. Well, the SEC can assert it, but then they'd have to sue over it. And there'd be a long litigation process the foundation would have to fight and go through. And, regulation's regulation. It's a hypothetical. And there's nothing in the history of Cardano that feels security-like. From the beginning to where it's at today, to the fact that the network is fully decentralized and so forth, I would believe that then Ethereum and Bitcoin would also be securities, and they'd be in a bigger debacle. And this problem with regulations through enforcement, there's not much you can do. Just any given Sunday is whoever the regulator decides to pick, and then there's a big fight. $100 million is spent. It's brutal and vicious, and a lot of hard feelings, and sometimes people win, sometimes people don't. I've heard rumors that the Ripple case will be settled December 15th, and we'll just see. And that could have catastrophic implications for the industry, one way or the other. But, you just keep moving forward.
All right. Now, remember, against the backdrop of what I'm talking about here, we know that Homeland Security knows who the 4 Satoshis are. We've got them on video saying it. So my question is, if at some point the mission was to destroy crypto, except for maybe a chosen one, if that was the purpose, what if? I mean, wouldn't this be the way that you would destroy the rest of crypto? Oh, we've discovered who the 4 Satoshis are, and we're filing lawsuit against them because that's central. That's centralized, and that is these are the Bitcoin creators, and all of a sudden we know who they are. SEC is filing a lawsuit against them. Whoa! Now, Ron Hammond, who's a lobbyist in D.C., he had done a tweet thread on what's going on, but look at this part. For now, it seems as if things will get worse before they get better. In absence of legislation, this will fall to the courts for years, folks. John Deaton has said something similar. Education still continues, though, with the hope that crypto Education still continues, though, with the hope that crypto will find love in a hopeless place. Also, sorry for the terrible V-Day puns. And I said, there's no other digital asset I'd rather own than XRP right now. With a do-nothing Congress, it looks like being sued and winning is the only path to clarity. Then Charles Gasparino tweeted this morning. Breaking, per Eleanor Terrett and my reporting, securities lawyers, including a past top SEC official, say SEC looking to largely cut off crypto in all its forms after FTX debacle. SEC enforcement has blanketed crypto with so-called Wells notices signaling intent to bring cases. Folks, do you remember Kendra Hill? I'm going to read it again. This is one of those people that sounded like they knew something and then disappeared from social media. The world only needs one. Now think about that, folks. What if? I'm just saying, what if? What if XRP in the next month or two was the only digital asset with clarity? XRP and tokens built on the XRP ledger. Do you really need all the other thousands of them? I don't think you do. I think you could build an entire, and I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just saying I think you could build an entire crypto ecosystem off of the XRP ledger and Stellar. And you can issue tokens at will, all kinds of tokens. You can put Bitcoin on the XRP ledger. The world only needs one. Before the digital age, using one world currency was not possible. Now that we are able to connect with people around the globe in seconds, one currency would be ideal. With that thought in mind, think about the cryptocurrency market. So many to choose from, yet only one is needed. Cryptocurrency will be made illegal. This is not a maybe, this is a warning. Nothing is left up to chance. Our world is always planned years in advance. If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail, and failure is not an option. Allowing additional currencies to exist when the world is only using one would be disruptive. It is not to be tolerated and will be easier to stop than you think. The illusion is that Bitcoin, for example, is untouchable. The reality is that that it is government controlled through the use of mining pools. Any cryptocurrency aiming to be decentralized digital currency will not survive. The one that we will use has already been chosen. The one world currency is already here. Not only is it here, you may already be in possession of it. The currency of the future is currently ranked in the top 10 coin market cap. Now the question is, which cryptocurrency is it? I'll answer that in my next blog post. There's some information I wish to release regarding the people organizations involved. People may not believe what I say today, and I do not expect anyone to. When the time comes and the truths are revealed, you will realize that I am someone you should listen to. This is why I am starting my blog in the way that I am. Now, folks, you may think that's crazy, and maybe it is. I don't know. But we're about to find out, I have a feeling. The XRP ledger just closed lucky ledger number 777777. It's an honor, our widely trusted, I don't even know what that is, but XRP ledger 777. Is XRP the lucky one? We shall see. I'm the digital asset. I know where my money is. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family that I know where my money is.